Alright, welcome back everybody. We are going on to Group B of the Team Liquid Legacy Star League Season 2 round of 24. But first, a shout out to the sponsors, Razer and Twitch TV. Huge thanks to them for sponsoring this tournament. They are super awesome, and they've sponsored not just this season of course, but a whole set of at least 4 seasons. So 3 regular seasons and the championship season. $500 prize pool for each of the small ones and 2K championship. It's super awesome. And of course, a huge thanks to Team Liquid as well for doing all the organization stuff. It's actually quite a lot of work organizing a tournament. To Apocalypse in particular, the head honcho. I mean, he's the guy with like the Broodwar icon on the forums, so you can't miss him. If you see him around, tell him he's awesome. All right, so with that, the group. In the first match, it's going to be a PvP between Lancer X and Arc Neon, followed by a TVZ between Busy and Whistler. Now, again, I mentioned this in the beginning of the cast, but these 4 players are all new to the TLS. None of them qualified last season, even though I think Arc Neon and Lancer X both at least played. I'm not actually sure if Whistler or Busy even tried to qualify. I think Whistler was just starting to get active again when we made the qualifiers last season, so I don't think he got a chance. And Busy also has only very recently become active again, just playing a couple of matches in Gambit's Cup. It's very exciting though, because Busy, in my opinion, definitely a super strong player. Whistler also, when he's on form, is very strong. But we'll talk about that later. First, we have Lancer X versus Arc Neon, which I think is going to be very interesting. So let me tell you guys something. Actually, you know what? Maybe should I go into the game first? You know, let's go into the game. I'll talk about it at the beginning of the game. But these guys, I have some stuff to say. It's pretty good stuff. But anyway, here we go. Set number 1. Alright, here we go into game number 1. At the top left, as the brown Protoss, we have Arc Neon Pain. At the top right, as the yellow Protoss, we have Lancer X. So, yeah. Man, by the way, hold on, alright. Before talking about the players, I see some people talking about, like, changing races and stuff in the chat. And they're like, oh, well, who's gonna prepare? Guys, like, Bakri prepared his sets. Like, he prepared last season specifically for Nemu. And I think this season, like, I hope I'm not giving it away, but he also said he has to, like, specifically practice against, I think, True Touch's style or something? Bakri, man, that guy prepares! I know it! He does! Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, these players. Okay. So first of all, Lancer X, very strong player, but unfortunately just seems to choke a lot in, like, tournament situations, or I don't know if it's choking or if he just doesn't perform very well. So like he's gotten pretty high on the ladder. He's like A- high, but you know, like in Gambit's Cup, he's like barely 50%, I think, not even, and he hasn't really posted any really impressive individual tournament results. So see, I'm not really sure, you know, if it's just the pressure or what's up with him, but it just doesn't really perform well in these high-pressure situations. So even though, so that's why, you know, a lot of players, or sorry, no, a lot of TLS staff members picked Lancer X to advance, but I'm not really sure though. He seems to be pretty unstable. Arc Neon, on the other hand, if you asked me a week ago, you know, who would advance from this group, I would have actually just said Busy and Whistler. But last weekend, Arc Neon won the Defiler tournament. He 2-0'd Terror, he 2-0'd Skyline, and he 3-2'd Neagle, who was like some Korean Protoss who was really gosu. So, yeah, after seeing that, I was like, oh, well, I guess clearly Arc Neon is on form, or he's just been practicing a lot recently, or something. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to pick Busy and Arc Neon to advance from this group. So we'll see if he can pull out some of the crazy play he showed in the Defiler tournament last season. Anyway. So, looks like we have a core first from both players. And Scout guys are gonna high-five each other down here, but Lancer X actually doesn't change direction for some reason. Looks like he wasn't paying attention, which is a little bit weird. Although actually looking at his APM, it's actually relatively low. So maybe just actually wasn't paying attention. Oh my god, look at Arcneon spamming like crazy. 500 APM when I have one unit that isn't moving. Oh yeah. You know you're badass when you get into the blue colors. Anyway, Probe Guy's gonna get in, immediately gets snapped off by a Dragoon, although he will see the second gateway here, so he kind of knows the opening at least. I mean, he knows it's not a mega fast DT or Reaver. So that's actually quite useful information already. He might even escape, actually. No, I don't think he will. Doesn't look like he will. So Arcneon, gonna sacrifice the probe, but gonna get perfect information. He even especially blocked his own round for the second probe. He can actually pull this back now, but I think he's too busy microing his own scouting probe to notice. And he's basically gone for the same build, so it doesn't really matter. They've both gone for fast 2 gateways here, which I think is probably reasonable, because on Jade, of course, there is a reverse ramp, so early Goon aggression can be very, very effective on this map. Notice, by the way, that this probe is pushed back out here, so he doesn't even see that there's no natural expansion. Which they might not... There's not necessarily a natural expansion already, but there could have been like a probe waiting there if Arcneon was doing some risky build, like a 1-gate expand, which we have actually seen a few times, actually. In particular in the qualifiers, it seems that every time Wands played a PvP, because Wands played like really predictably and kept going 2-gate obs, his opponents would always just 1-gate expand against him. But it doesn't look like it's happening here. Of course, I don't think either of these players has really predictable PvPs, or at least I don't really know their PvP styles. But we do have a Robo already for Lancer, and I don't see any additional building yet for Arcneon, so he's just continuing the Goon Pump, while Lancer X has actually cut Goons in order to afford that Robo. Or I think that's what's happened at least. So yes, it looks like because it's going to be a 2-gate expand here from Arcneon, taking a bit of a risk, not as bad of course as the 1-gate expand. Whoa, a bit of an engagement here, but with that Zealot and the high ground, there's no way Lancer can actually do anything, and actually might even lose a Goon here, although a bit of a miss focus fire from Arcneon. I think he definitely could have at least snapped off one of those Goons, but yeah, he's gone for a slightly risky 2-gate expand, and the thing is, it's not actually that risky anymore, because he saw that it was a 2-gate, so he saw no DT opening, which is why he's felt safe doing this. You see, Lancer X's version of this build is the safe version, where you get the Robo first, you can get observers out, because he didn't see what his opponent was doing. So if Arcneon was going for a DT rush, he could at least get the observers out in time. Although given that he saw how many Goons there were, I think he knows it's also not a DT rush, which is why he got the Nexus before getting an OBS. But before knowing that, you know, he had to get the Robo first. So so immediately Arcneon getting a slight advantage just because he got that early scout in. Which he did invest earlier, because if I remember correctly, he did actually send the scout out a lot earlier than Lancer X did as well. So, you know, that's the return on the investment. You can see his Nexus. It's not that far ahead, but it is a little bit far ahead. And you know, because it's a mirror matchup, these little differences do make a difference. One thing to note, by the way, though, is in these positions, the back of Arcneon's natural is kind of facing Lancer X's main. I think I mentioned this like basically every PvP, but it does make it a little bit easier to Reaper Harass back here. Whereas, of course, it's, you know, for Arcneon, you'd have to go all the way around, which is slightly annoying. He can drop the main as well, but obviously it's less effective because there's a lot more time for the opponent to react. So there's a good old probe transfer going over. And Lancer X's base should be up and running shortly as well. And we do have Reavers coming out from him. It's just an observatory so far from Arcneon. I don't see the Reaver tech. I would imagine he's going to go for it, though. Skipping Reaver tech if you haven't gone for like a DT expand opening seems a little bit risky to me, because if you haven't gone for like a DT opening, then it still takes a while to actually get up to the Templar tech, and so if your opponent does some kind of early aggression with a Reaver, you can be in a little bit of trouble. But it does look like he is in fact going to skip it, so Arcneon just adding on the additional gateway is just going to rely on a high Goon count and decent control to actually, you know, prevent any kind of Reaver shenanigans. So he's going up to 5 gateways, while because Lancer X is doing Reaver production, he's going to have a much lower Goon count. So this is going to be quite interesting. We could have some, you know, engagements on the map where it's, you know, Arcneon has a significant Goon advantage, but if Lancer X can get a good position and, you know, do really good Reaper micro, maybe he can do something. I think it's more likely that Lancer X will just leave his Goons at home and just try and harass, though, especially because he has the Observer out already, so you can kind of see what's going on. The Observer from Arcneon, though, should be out soon. It'll be... interesting if they cross paths, but no, it looks like it's rallied a little bit downwards, so very luckily for Lancer, actually, it's not spotted. If it was spotted, his own observer can actually be killed straight away. Although the second observer is coming out. Meanwhile, the observer of... oh, sorry, that was actually the second observer. Okay, so the first observer, Arcneon, actually already went over here. Or was that... Yeah, that was actually the first one. Okay, so he actually already had one over there anyway. Ooh, nice. Slightly lucky, though. He didn't actually even see it, I don't think. Anyway, no shuttle speed. I noticed that Arcneon did... Sorry, Lancer X did get 2 slow reavers first before the shuttle. So just playing defensively, because again, he doesn't really know, or he didn't know exactly what was going on in his opponent's space until the observer got there. So just have to be a little bit careful and go for the reaver first, in case there was any kind of early aggression. It's pretty normal to do that if you're going for a fast expand in PvP to get the reaver before the shuttle. And we see Arcneon bringing some Dragoons positioned here to help defend against a drop. They're a little bit far back, so potentially there could still be a drop anyway. But that's okay. By the way, I do like that Arcneon's got these spotting things at the south side of his main as well. You can look on the other hand at Lancer X's base, he doesn't even have like a spotting pylon on the side of the main. So if Arcneon was to go and drop in his main, he would actually not have as much warning as he could have. But no, it looks like having waited for the shuttle and the 2 reavers, Lancer X might be going for a big attack, although the fact that he's left some of his goons at home tells me that this goon force is just a distraction. So he's going to attack up here, kind of draw Arcneon's attention over to the front of the ramp, and then drop in the back and try and get maximum kills. Although he's not actually doing that, so it looks like that's just to block any kind of Dragoon snipe. So actually, okay, so since he didn't actually do that, I think what instead this is to make sure that the shuttle goes in, and when it goes out, the goons of Arcneon don't come out here and try and snipe it on the way back. He's just put these goons here to block that. He put those goons here to block that, I think, instead of going for the distraction. I think the distraction move probably would have been better. Maybe could have got dropped a reaver and got a few kills before running away, but doesn't want to take that risk. Of course, two reavers in a shuttle is a very big investment. So doesn't want to do anything silly. Meanwhile, as we see, Arcneon did go straight for the Templar tech. So he's getting some Zealots and some Templars out now. He's got leg speed on the way. He does indeed. Speed Lot's very, very effective against Dragoons. Reavers are quite good against them though, because they do tend to clump. But if he can get up to that Speed Lot, Templar Archon mix, in my opinion, it's overall better than the Mass-Goon Reaver mix, depending on the micro. But of course, he does have a slight vulnerability right now, which is that he doesn't have the speed upgrade yet. He doesn't have Templars / Archons yet. So this is the exact time that Lancer X wants to use to attack, although he is attacking uphill though. And the Reavers are a little bit out of position on the side, but it looks like picking that one up is going to save it. Now, is the Reaver advantage going to be enough to overcome the low ground's disadvantage? I don't know. It's looking very, very close, but actually, Lancer X is breaking through here. Arcneon is in trouble. Arcneon did not have his tech up in time, and the 2 Reavers proving to be a little bit too much. He also might have pulled back a little bit too far there and allowed some of the goons to get on the high ground, so he didn't actually have the high ground advantage for all of his Dragoons, and now he is suddenly in gigantic trouble here. Oh man, he also very greedily took a 3rd base. That's also why he's lacking on the units. His Templars are just chilling there. Do they have Storm? No, he's just going to make them into an emergency Archon, but I think this could be lights out for Arcneon with a very well executed attack by Lancer X. Arcneon is in some serious trouble, and the probes are all gonna die! Yeah! Oh man, they hit the same probes. That's a little bit lucky, but I mean, this is still bad news bears. Man, that was just the perfect timing for Lancer X. Templars were not quite out yet, speed was not quite done, and GG from Arcneon. Lancer X takes it down and goes on to the winners match. Alright. Wow, that was really interesting. I mean, Arcneon, he had the build order advantage. He went 2-gate Expo versus the 2-gate Obs Expand of Lancer X. But yeah, see, skipping that Reaver tech, if you don't open DTs and you still skip Reaver tech, very, very dangerous. You're very exposed to that kind of attack. And Lancer X just showed exactly why that's the case. So, yeah, good job, Lancer. But that's alright. Arcneon's not out yet. He still has the losers match to play in. And coming up next, we're going to have a TVZ, the first TVZ of the night, I believe. The first Terran player of the night. It's going to be Busy versus Whistler. Very exciting. Busy, I think, a bit of a TVZ specialist. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Be right back.